Hello everybody, Jennifer Maker here. Do you ever feel like your cardstock projects look a little flat? Today I'm going to show you how to make these beautiful cards and then add the illusion of depth to the cardstock using not one but two different types of ink. But how do we do it? And which type of ink gave the best results? Pull up a chair here at my craft table and let's figure it out together. So making cards for friends and family with a Cricut is one of the favorite ways to use it. I can't even tell you the last time I bought a store-bought card, but sometimes I find cardstock projects can look a little flat. Besides, well, they are, of course, right? However, you can create the illusion of dimension in your layered cardstock projects simply by adding a few tools and materials, as well as some tried and true techniques. So, how do we create this lovely depth on our cardstock flowers? With ink, that's how. When adding visual depth and dimension to your paper crafts, a little of the right kind of ink can turn something like this card, which is just plain old cardstock, into this card. Isn't that cool? Can you see the depth and how it looks almost 3D? That's what I'm going to show you how to recreate on your own cards. But what kind of ink should you use to do this? That's the big question. So today I'll demonstrate how to apply two types of ink to the cardstock to get these fun, really cool, multi-dimensional effects. We're going to use Distress ink and Distress Oxide. So what's the difference between these two things? So Distress Oxides, like this, are pigment-based and they're easier to blend. They kind of sit on top of the cardstock and apply with a deeper, more saturated color. On the other hand, Distress inks are dye-based. Their color is lighter than the oxides, which allows the color of the cardstock to show through the ink. So which type of ink did I like working with best? And which type gave the best results and made our flowers pop with a cool multi-dimensional look? That's the question. Watch the tutorial and stick around to find out. So if you're ready to get started, let's get my free card designs to learn on, and then I'll show you how to add some beautiful depth and detail. Step 1, get my free card designs. To learn this inking technique, you can download my card designs at jennifermaker.com/506. You can either download right from that link by saving the project, or download from my entire free design collection. To find it, look for Libraries in the red bar at the top, and then click either Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. Search the page for design number 506 and click the link to download the designs. The download includes a PDF to cut the designs by hand, if you prefer. There's also a reference PDF to keep your pieces straight, and then cut files in DXF or SVG format. I'm using the Cricut Maker 3 in this video, but you can also use the original Cricut Maker, any Cricut Explorer, the Cricut Venture, or the Cricut Joy Extra for this project. Now there are two SVGs in the folder, a score version, which requires a scoring wheel or stylus, and the no score version that only needs the fine point blade. I'll use the no score version today, but if you'd like to use the score version, see my tutorial at jennifermaker.com/373 to adjust the necessary score lines. That's also where you'll find a free A10 envelope to make for your cards. Each of these cards fits best in that size of envelope because of the pieces that hang over the edges. If you're not sure how to upload, go to jennifermaker.com/svgs to learn how to unzip and upload SVG files. Step 2, prepare and cut your design. Here's how the card collection looks in Cricut Design Space. You can zoom out to see the whole set by clicking the minus sign. There are card fronts with daisies, tulips, a sunflower, and cherry blossoms. Each has a 5 by 7 inch rectangle for an attached background. There's also a 5 by 7 inch card base that works with any style. I'll show you how to prepare and cut the sunflower design, but the same steps work for the other flowers. So in Cricut Design Space, in your Layers panel, delete or hide the grouped layers for the card fronts that you don't want to make. Be sure to leave the white rectangle at the bottom. And that's all you'll have to do, and you're ready to cut a card. Make sure the correct machine is selected, then click Make It. If you're prompted, click on Mat, choose your mat size, and click Confirm. On the Prepare screen, make sure your mats look correct. If you're using the same cardstock as I am, change your material size to 8.5 by 11 inch for each color. Select the first mat again and click Continue. On the Make screen, click Browse All Materials, search for medium cardstock, and select the medium cardstock 80-pound setting. Select More for the pressure to get cleaner cuts. Now, if you're using the same kind of cardstock for each of your mats, click the Remember Material Settings box, as that will save you some time. Now place the first sheet of cardstock face up on a green standard grip machine mat. Use a brayer to adhere your cardstock really well, and make sure your blade is clean and in the clamp. Then press the flashing arrows to load your mat into your Cricut. And then press the flashing Go button to begin cutting. When it's all finished cutting, unload your mat and flip your mat over onto your work surface and gently curl the mat away from the cardstock. Some pieces are very delicate, so take your time with them. I recommend you also keep some scraps of each color so you can test your inks on them in a little bit. Set the cut pieces face up to keep everything straight, and then repeat the process for the remaining mats. Step 3. Ink your cardstock designs. First, put down some butcher paper or scrap paper to protect your work surface from any stains from the ink. Some scrap copy paper will help with testing, and disposable gloves will help keep your hands clean. I'm going to use Distress inks for my assembly, but I'll show you a version using Distress Oxides at the end, and I'll share my thoughts on both. The links to each color are in the tutorial over at jennifermaker.com/506. They're also in the description of this video. Whichever kind of color you choose, I definitely recommend practicing on some scrap paper, especially when you're learning how to blend colors. Copy paper and the excess from the cutting cards also work really well. There are many inking tools available, but I found Ranger's ink blending tool and the Detail ink blending tool most helpful. The larger one comes with 1-inch round foam pieces and is good for covering more area, like the sky backgrounds. The smaller Detail tool offers much more control, so we'll use that for most of the pieces. To practice the sky background, take a scrap of white cardstock, a clean ink blending tool, a pad of blue color, and some copy paper. Now, instead of using the tool like a stamp to pick up the color, gently press it down and swirl the foam to get an even layer of color. On scrap copy paper, dab and swirl the tool so the foam is evenly covered. Then use light pressure and small circular motions on the scrap white cardstock to start building the color. If you add color in light layers, it's easier to control the look instead of going too dark too fast. You can always add more, but you can't lighten the color. Letting more or less of the cardstock show through is one way to create different looks. When you're confident in the application technique, put more copy paper under the 5x7-inch white cardstock and start swirling. With the extra paper, you can swirl right off the edges to get even coverage. Here's my background. The color dries quickly, so you don't have to worry about holding them after a minute. Next come the leaves. I'll start with the lighter top leaves for my sunflower cards, so place yours face up. The added color looks best at the edges, so grab the smaller Detail tool this time. Swirl the tool's foam end in the lighter green to pick up some color. Then even out the color by swirling on the copy paper. Hold the cardstock face up in your other hand so a leaf edge is visible. Apply the ink to the outer edge of the entire leaf layer with little swirls. And don't worry if it looks a little harsh, we're going to do more blending. When the color stops spreading and the paper isn't changing colors, pick up more ink on your tool. Once the edges are all colored, put the leaf down on the copy paper. Use a light circular motion to gently and gradually blend the ink toward the center of the leaves. If you need a bit more color, pick up a little bit, swirl it on the scrap paper to even it out, then keep going with light pressure. Remember, you can always add more, but you can't take it away. Here's how the top leaf looks. Use the same technique to color and blend the darker layer's edges with a darker green. If you're making a card, now is a great time to start assembling it so the glue can dry. Fold your base card in half along the scored or the dashed line, and use a scraper tool to make sure the crease is straight. Apply thin lines of a good quality craft glue to the back of the blue sky layer. Line it up on the front of the white card. Press it in place and let the glue dry completely while finishing the other steps. The flower petals and details take more time than the leaves, but they are worth it. So put one piece C of the sunflower face up. Swirl the detail tool in yellow to pick up some color. Instead of starting at the edges, this time lightly swirl color into the middle of a petal, using less pressure closer to the outer edges. Detail the other petals on both C layers the same way. Then add a light layer of brown to the front edges of piece A, the sunflower's lighter middle. Piece B, the dark brown layer, doesn't need any additional color. Now you can start assembling the layers. Take off your gloves and replace the protective paper if it's dirty. Place the bottom leaves, that's piece E, face up, and the top leaves, that's piece D, face down. Add foam adhesive spacer circles to the back of piece D. I put one near the tip of each leaf and a few in the layer's middle. Remove the backing paper from each spacer. A weeding tool can help here if you have any troubles. Align the top leaves, piece D, face up on the bottom layer. Just a bit of the dark green should be evenly visible. Then press the layers in place. Place the card in the orientation you prefer, with the opening at the bottom or to the right. Hold the layers over the card to create the look you want. I want a few leaf tips to go beyond the edges, but not so much that the card won't fit in an envelope. Add thin lines of glue to the back of the bottom leaves, avoiding where they won't touch the card. Press it on to the front of the sky layer. Wipe away any excess glue if there's any and let the card dry. Take both C pieces and use your nails or fingers to gently curve the petals upward. Flip one over and add a few adhesive foam pieces to the middle circle. This will be the top layer. Position the top layer face up over the bottom one so the middle's aligned and the petals are staggered. Then press it down to adhere them. Place piece B face up, add a few dots of glue to the back of piece A, and align the lighter brown center, that's piece A, on top. Make sure the wavy edges line up. Add a few adhesive foam pieces to the center back of piece B. Press the brown pieces onto the middle of the sunflower layers. Add glue to the back of the bottom sunflower piece and position it on the green layers. The leaves should show at the sides. Your sunflower card is now complete. I'll show you the differences between my version with the inks and the one with the oxides at the end. But first, here are some tips on inking and assembling the other flower cards. Cherry blossoms. Here are all the pieces for the cherry blossom card. This card has more layers than the others, so use your reference PDF and the Design Space canvas to put everything in order before you begin. Set the flower pieces aside for now, and use your detail tool to ink each leaf's edges with matching colors just like the other cards. Then take piece I, the branch, and lightly ink the edges with light brown using the leaf technique. Inking the petals is different because we want the white tips to remain visible. Take one piece A large bottom petal, and your detail tool with some coral on it. Ink the petal's edges Then use light circles to add a little color to each petal's middle and lightly spread it to the edges. Use the same technique to ink all the petals, pieces A, B, D, and E. They get tiny, so do your best, but don't stress about making everything perfect. Remember, flowers are never perfect, and they're still beautiful. But if you make a mistake, they're symmetrical, so just turn it over and try again. While the petals dry, add some glue to the back of the branch and attach it to the sky layer. Take the top leaf layers, piece Gs, and put foam adhesive on the back of each leaf. Don't worry about the numbers, they'll be covered. Line up the numbers of a top leaf with the matching bottom leaf, the H's, and press it in place. Repeat for the other 8 leaves. Using the PDF for reference, glue each leaf into place on the branch. Now back to the blossoms. Group your petals by size to keep them straight. Use foam adhesive to attach each piece B on top of a piece A with the petals staggered. You'll make 6 large flowers. Then attach each piece E on top of piece D, staggering the petals. Now you have 3 small flowers too. Finish the large flowers by attaching the bigger stamens, that's piece C, in the middle with a dab of glue. Add the smaller stamens to the small flowers the same way. Use glue to attach the flowers to the leaves, covering the numbers. Leaves 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and 9 get large flowers, and numbers 3, 4, and 8 get the small ones. And your cherry blossom card is complete. Step 4, show it off. Here is what each of my finished inked cardstock flowers look like. And here's the card with the distress oxides next to the one with the ink oxides. Do you see the differences? Tulip and daisy cards. The tulip and daisy cards use similar techniques, and I have step-by-step illustrated directions for each card available at jennifermaker.com/506. Didn't these all turn out so beautifully? The distress oxides and inks really take the cards to their next level with the depth and dimension, don't they? So, the big question, which ink did I prefer? The real truth is that I liked both of them because the distress oxides are easier to blend and they just kind of sit on top of the cardstock. They're great for creating really dynamic blends with vibrant colors. And then you have the distress inks, which are lighter and let some of the cardstock color peek through. The distress ink is great for more subtle highlights and shading, but they are a little more stubborn to blend, especially because they dry pretty quickly. So keep that in mind. And if you're looking at these two, this side are our distress ink cards, and this side are our distress oxide cards. All in all, I liked using both, but you can use them however you like. That's the fun of this. It's all up to your own personal preference. If I have one definite word of advice though, it would be to practice, practice, practice using your oxides or inks first before you apply them to your cards. You'll be able to get a better feel for how the pigments and inks apply to your cardstock, what kind of pressure, blending, and dry time you need to achieve the look that you're going for. Now, if you have any questions about working with distress oxides or inks, cardstock, or anything else Cricut or craft related that I can help you with, please let me know. Leave your question below this video or ask over in our Cricut Crafters group at jennifermaker.com/CricutCrafters. Please be sure to post your pictures too. I love to see all of the beautiful ink cardstock cards that you are going to create. I know it. And don't forget that if you don't have a Cricut cutting machine yet, I give one away free every month. It's over at jennifermaker.com/Cricut giveaway. Come on over and enter. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.